Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic. I'm tripping, but I ain't.
Nova, and I'm bringing you a new tutorial on Amir Obe's song called Free. And the song's really good. I actually had it for a request and everything. After listening to it, I feel like I got the vocal quality pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and just jump into it. I'm gonna turn off everything on the master, and we'll turn off everything except for auto-tune. Auto-tune is the first thing we're gonna have. So boom. All right, so the key is C sharp scale minor. I put the input type on low male voice. I noticed that he used a lot of auto-tune in this song, so I turned it all the way up. And you can freeze the screen for all these other settings, but this is what I have, and this is what it's gonna sound like. Oh, I forgot, my bad. All right, here we go.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic.
So next thing we have is a fruity limiter, and what you want to go ahead and do is click on compressor. So you want to bring the releases down to the middle, and the head, I put the head, I think I lowered it to about like negative, I mean sorry, not negative, but 0.52 milliseconds, and turn your ratio all the way to the right. The threshold, just bring it down. I brought mine down to negative 12.6 for yours. Just make sure, just bring the compression down to where a little bit of the purple is showing. That's the best way how I'm going to explain to anybody. You don't want to overdo it on the compression. So this was going to look like and sound like.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic. I'm tripping, but I ain't fuck.
The next thing we have is a parametric EQ2. What I know is a lot of people may look at this and be like, okay, what is he really doing? But Amir Obe, like his vocals were really sharp. They're like really crispy in the high end. And this is exactly what I did for it to really just get that same effect. So I went ahead and just cut out some of the low, cut it at 100, boosted some of the mid frequency, and I brought up the 7 band to 12. And this was gonna sound like.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcohol.
So now that you hear that, we're gonna go to the parametric EQ2, and I went ahead and cut out a lot of the low frequency, and I brought up the 7 band a little bit more. So really his vocals are extremely thin, like it was really inside of the beat. So what we have right here, I'm gonna go ahead and play it.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic.
After that, we're gonna have a fruity limiter, and what you want to go ahead and do is just bring the release all the way down to 0. The head, just right click and press reset, and the attack, right click and reset it. And basically what we want to do is just basically like flatten the vocal and just have the whole thing like really just leveled. So I'm about to play it and you're gonna hear exactly what we're gonna have.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic.
So when you hear that, the vocals sound really sharp and distorted, and there's a reason for that. Later on, you're gonna see that the de-esser Maximus is gonna take care of some of, well, not even some, like a lot of that frequency. So what you want to go ahead and do, click on Maximus, load that in, go to the drop down, go to presets, de-esser split band, select that, and you want to right click. It should start at the band being right here. You want to left click and drag it down to negative 12, and the same, it should be right here. Just left click, drag it to negative 12, and this is what it's gonna sound like.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic. I'm tripping, but I ain't fall yet.
So now that you hear that, the next thing we have is a fruity reverb 2. And basically it took me a second to kind of realize what it was, but the vocals aren't really wide. What he did, he put the reverb in mono, as opposed to, you know, the instrumental being like a wide kind of beat, especially since he used like a filtered, I guess like a filtered synth bass. But what he did specifically, you want to go ahead and do is, you know, left click, bring this all the way to the right. That's gonna put it in mono. If you bring it to the left, it's gonna have it in stereo. So get this and bring it all the way to the right. And there was a lot of reverb, so you want to increase the low cut, increase the high, and just make sure the size of the room is at 100, and then the bass at 100. So After we have that, I'm gonna go ahead and play what we have.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic. I'm tripping, but I ain't far yet.
Now the very last thing we have is a fruity limiter, and what you want to do is just bring the release down to 0, and you just want the vocals to be at 0 decibels really. And after you have that, you want to bring it down on a mixer to about -3. That's, I'm not gonna say exactly, but that's really close to where he had his vocals at, and I feel like that's most likely where he did, because when I compared my vocal to his track, they sounded on par with each other. So after having that, even with the instrumental, I didn't do anything to the instrumental because I just looped the beginning. So after we have that, I'm going to play it all together.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic. I'm tripping, but I ain't far yet.
So the next thing we have is going to be a fruity convolver. And what you want to go ahead and do is just cut this right here. If you have difficulties trying to get this, the best thing, well, I'm going to prefer you get the FLP. Just go to my site, bluenovabeats.com, and you can get the same exact thing that I have right here. And the last thing is going to be a fruity limiter. And just bring the release down to 0. That's basically what's going to do, and just going to really just make the whole mix not, I get it, the whole mix isn't going to exceed past 0. That's the reason for the limiter. So after that, oh, and also I didn't explain why the fruity convolver is here. Basically, with all the high frequency in this song, you want to cut out to about like where it's like at 15K, because it's going to clean up that area and it's going to make the mix sound a little bit more softer. So after that, we're going to go ahead and play what we have right now.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic. I'm tripping, but I ain't far yet.
So that pretty much wraps up this mixing and mastering tutorial, or really just getting the same vocal preset as Amir Obe. So if you have any more questions, go ahead and put in the comment section. If you need any of your songs mixed and mastered, just go to bluenovabeats.com, go to the contact form in the very bottom of the page, and just type away. Just shoot me an email. I'll get it and respond to you as soon as possible. But make sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment away exactly what you want next. All right. Thank you all for watching.
Wonder why you ain't call yet. Wonder why you ain't call yet. Borderline alcoholic. I'm tripping, but I ain't